But I had the word come to me saying, don't sacrifice excellence for time.
The online space has been buzzing again with new developments surrounding Bishop David Oyedepo and the controversy stirred up by a social media personality known as Auntie Adunni.
A few years ago, you said God asked you to build 100,000 seating capacity church. And God gave you a deadline to finish the church. This church is yet to be completed as of today.
What began as a viral accusation about the Ark Project has now taken another turn, as Bishop Widapo has officially responded to the allegations.
God has been doing amazing wonders at the Ark. Would you give the Lord a big hand of praise? It will interest you that they've started installing the escalators. But I had the word come to me saying, don't sacrifice excellence for time. Our technical partners will require some more time than earlier estimated. There will be a review of the date. You'll be informed later.
For weeks, Auntie Adunni's video criticizing Bishop Oyedepo made the rounds online, drawing mixed reactions from supporters and critics alike. She accused the founder of Living Faith Church, also known as Winners Chapel, of misleading the public about the completion timeline of the Ark, a 100,000-seater auditorium said to be one of the largest church buildings in the world.
Oyedepo, like I said in the last video, when he announced that he was going to build 100,000 seating capacity church. Pastor Oyedepo, I hope this video gets to you, and I hope you reason with this video. A few years ago, you said God asked you to build 100,000 seating capacity church, and God gave you a deadline to finish the church.
As the Lord lives, Shiloh 2025 shall be held in the Ark.
This church is yet to be completed as of today. That particular church will have been better as an industry. I remember a young man came out kneeling down. The video went viral. The guy was begging you. He said, please, Daddy, don't build another church. You have a very huge one already in Otta, with large followership all over the world. He said, instead, please help us to build industry where the youths can get positively productive and engaged. But you went on to build the same Ark, and you are yet to complete it. Your God has changed the date 3 times now.
But I had the word come to me saying, don't sacrifice excellence for time. Our technical partners will require some more time than earlier estimated.
He's yet to still complete the church, because it is not God that is building it, it is human being. Dollar has skyrocketed, seriously. Building material is no more the same thing. Expatriates are the one building the church. Your financial capacity, you don't want to spend your money. People are not giving as they used to anymore. That is why the church is yet to be completed.
Now, in a recent update, Bishop Oyedepo has responded, clarifying why the dedication date of the Ark was shifted. His statement emphasized excellence, planning, and divine order, explaining that the project was not postponed because of lack of funds or deceit, but because the technical team needed more time to ensure perfection. This development has reignited conversations across the Christian community and beyond. Was this simply a practical delay, or is there more to the story? In this analysis, we take a balanced look at both sides, not to stir conflict, but to understand the truth, the timeline, and the lessons behind one of Nigeria's most ambitious faith-based construction projects. The Ark Project timeline. To understand this controversy, we must first go back to the beginning of the Ark Project, one of the boldest undertakings in the history of the Living Faith Church. The Ark is a 100,000-seater auditorium located in Canaanland, Ota, Ogun State, envisioned to replace the Faith Tabernacle, which seats 50,000 worshippers. According to Bishop David Oyedepo, the idea for the Ark was birthed from divine inspiration, a directive he said came from God himself. The project was publicly announced in 2021, with foundation works commencing shortly after. Bishop Widapo had declared that the Ark would not only serve as a place of worship, but also as a spiritual and architectural landmark that reflects the greatness of God. Initially, the project's dedication was targeted for November 2025. The timeline was ambitious, But the church and its global members embraced it with excitement, viewing it as another step of faith in line with the church's long-standing record of completing massive projects debt-free. However, as time passed, visible progress on the structure slowed, leading to public speculation. The announcement of a postponed dedication date sparked further online debates. Many began to ask, was the project facing financial challenges, or was it simply a matter of timing and technical adjustments? While supporters of the ministry remained confident in the vision, critics used the opportunity to question transparency and financial accountability. The stage was set for the storm that followed, one that would bring Auntie Adunni's sharp accusations into the spotlight. Auntie Adunni's Accusations recap. Auntie Adunni, a Nigerian blogger and online commentator known for her outspoken style, released a video that went viral almost instantly. In it, she accused Bishop Oyedepo of deceiving his congregation regarding the Ark Project. She claimed that the project's dedication date had been changed not once, but multiple times, suggesting inconsistency in the church's communication. According to her, the real reason for the postponements was not technical or spiritual, but financial. She alleged that Bishop Widapo was unwilling to invest his own wealth into the project and instead relied heavily on the offerings and sacrifices of members, many of whom were struggling financially in Nigeria's harsh economy. She boldly declared that, God is not the one building the ark, it is the people's money. Auntie Adunni also expressed concern that the resources being poured into the ark could have been redirected toward empowerment initiatives or industries that would create jobs for church members. She claimed that a young man once appealed to Widapo to convert the project into an industrial center, but the suggestion was allegedly ignored. Her statements quickly spread across social media platforms, gathering thousands of comments. Some praised her for speaking truth to power, while others accused her of crossing a line and disrespecting a revered man of God. The videos generated heated debates about faith-based giving, accountability, and whether mega projects in churches still serve their intended spiritual purpose or have become symbols of excess. Regardless of personal opinions, one thing was certain, her words touched a nerve. And as the controversy continued to grow, many waited to hear whether Bishop Widapo would respond directly or ignore the criticism as he often had in the past. This time, however, he addressed it, setting the record straight on why the Ark Project dedication date was shifted and reaffirming the principles guiding its construction. Bishop Oyedepo's response. When the storm of criticism reached its peak, Bishop David Oyedepo, known for his calm and calculated approach to controversies, finally addressed the issue. During a service at Canaanland, he spoke directly about the postponement of the Ark Project dedication and the rumors circulating online. In his words, Bishop Oyedepo clarified, "The date was shifted because we don't want to sacrifice excellence for time. Our technical team needs more time to execute the program." He explained that the Ark is not just a physical structure, but a monumental vision requiring precision, expertise, and spiritual order. The decision to adjust the timeline, he emphasized, was born out of responsibility, not deceit. Bishop Widapo went further to reaffirm that every phase of the project is guided by divine direction. He noted that the Ark is being executed by skilled professionals and international contractors who work according to strict engineering standards. To him, rushing such a massive undertaking merely to meet a previously announced date would compromise the spirit of excellence that Living Faith Church has maintained over the years. He also reassured members of the congregation and partners across the world that a new dedication date would be communicated once the technical and structural details were fully aligned. According to him, it is better to move at God's pace than to succumb to the pressure of public timelines. This response marked an important turning point. It wasn't defensive or confrontational. Rather, it reflected his philosophy of leadership rooted in patience, diligence, and faith. It also reminded followers that faith projects are not built on emotions or deadlines but on divine process and order. Interpreting Widapo's statement. Bishop Widapo's statement sheds light on the core of his leadership and ministry philosophy, a relentless commitment to excellence. For decades, he has been consistent in emphasizing that God's work must reflect God's character, perfect, orderly, and excellent. His decision to postpone the dedication date can therefore be seen as a conscious effort to uphold that standard rather than yield to external criticism or public expectation. Practically speaking, projects of this magnitude are bound to face unforeseen challenges. Massive construction efforts like the Ark require thousands of workers, constant funding, quality control, and coordination between engineers, architects, and contractors. Delays in material supply, technical adjustments, or even weather conditions can easily alter original timelines. These are realities that even faith-based projects must contend with. Furthermore, Bishop Widapo's insistence on not sacrificing excellence for time aligns with biblical principles. In the construction of Solomon's temple, The process took years, involving the finest craftsmen and materials. The lesson here is that divine projects are not judged by how fast they are completed, but by the excellence with which they are executed. By speaking openly, Widapo demonstrated a form of transparency rarely seen among megachurch leaders in the face of public criticism. Instead of ignoring the uproar or dismissing it as persecution, he chose to clarify the situation, acknowledging the delay while reaffirming commitment to the vision. This response also portrays a strong message about stewardship. It suggests that for him, it's not just about finishing a building, but ensuring that it stands as a lasting symbol of faith, innovation, and divine excellence. In an age where speed often takes precedence over quality, Widapo's approach challenges both leaders and believers to value process as much as progress. Public and media reaction. As expected, Bishop Oyedepo's response reignited discussions across social media platforms, Christian blogs, and online news outlets. The reactions were sharply divided, reflecting the polarized nature of public opinion in today's digital landscape. Supporters of Bishop Oyedepo hailed his statement as a mark of integrity and maturity. To them, his transparency proved that the project is indeed legitimate and progressing under God's direction. Many reminded critics that Living Faith Church has a long-standing record of completing monumental projects without debt, from Faith Tabernacle to Covenant University and Landmark University. They saw the postponement as part of the natural process of ensuring excellence, not as evidence of failure or deception. On the other hand, skeptics and critics remained unconvinced. Some viewed the explanation as strategic damage control, arguing that the church's communication could have been clearer earlier on. Others questioned whether the emphasis on excellence was simply a convenient justification for deeper financial or administrative issues. Social media amplified these opposing voices. Clips of Widapo's remarks circulated widely, with users debating the ethics of large-scale church projects in an economically struggling nation. Some individuals praised him as a visionary leader guided by divine order, while others accused him of being out of touch with the realities of his members' financial hardships. The media also played its role in shaping the narrative. Christian-focused outlets emphasized his faith-based defense, while secular platforms highlighted the ongoing controversy, framing it as a clash between spirituality and accountability. This digital storm underscores a broader issue in modern Christianity: how church leaders navigate public scrutiny in an era where information, whether accurate or distorted, travels instantly. It also raises questions about how believers interpret faith-led projects when viewed through the lens of transparency, trust, and timing. In the end, the public reaction revealed one truth: the world is paying close attention not only to what the church builds but also to how it communicates and manages its divine assignments. Theological and spiritual. Beyond the noise of public opinion and online criticism lies a deeper spiritual dimension that cannot be ignored: the question of divine timing and human process. Can a project that is truly inspired by God experience delays? The answer, when examined scripturally, is yes. Throughout the Bible, there are numerous examples of divinely ordained assignments that faced human interruptions, timing adjustments, or logistical setbacks, not because God failed, but because divine purpose must align with human readiness. Take the example of Solomon's temple. The vision was conceived by David, a man after God's heart, but it was not fulfilled in his lifetime. God instructed David to prepare materials, yet it was Solomon who eventually built the temple. The process took years, not months. It involved craftsmanship, precision, and divine timing. Even though David was eager, God's wisdom allowed the delay so that the project could be built in peace and perfection. The outcome was a structure so magnificent that it became a global wonder, but that glory came through patience. Another relevant example is Nehemiah's rebuilding project in Jerusalem. Despite having divine approval, Nehemiah faced opposition, distractions, and supply issues. Yet, the delay became part of the testimony. Every interruption refined the process and drew attention to God's sustaining grace rather than man's speed. Applying this principle to the Ark Project, Bishop Oyedepo's decision to shift the date can be seen not as a retreat but as alignment with divine order. Faith does not eliminate the reality of process. Rather, it empowers believers to trust that even delays serve a divine purpose. In spiritual leadership, managing God's timing requires sensitivity, humility, and courage. Faith and excellence walk hand in hand. Excellence demands patience, and patience is a test of faith. The commitment to maintain the highest standard in building the Ark echoes God's own attitude toward creation. He took 6 days to complete the world, each stage perfect in its order. If the Creator himself valued process, then his servants must also learn to value divine timing over human deadlines. Therefore, the delay should not be interpreted as failure but as a strategic pause to ensure that the project reflects God's glory in full. What is unfolding is not just construction, it is the shaping of a spiritual legacy that will outlive the critics and prove that true faith waits for God's perfect time. Lessons for believers and church leaders. From this controversy emerge vital lessons for both church leaders and believers. Faith projects, no matter how inspired, must always balance three essential pillars: vision, excellence, and accountability. Vision gives direction, excellence ensures quality, and accountability sustains trust. Without these three working together, even the best intentions can breed misunderstanding. For believers, one key lesson is that delay does not equal deceit. In the natural, delays can frustrate expectations, but in the spiritual, they often refine purpose. When God is involved in a project, He is not only interested in the outcome but also in the process and the people being developed through it. Members of a church must therefore learn to view faith projects not as mere construction efforts but as faith journeys where endurance and understanding are required. For leaders, this situation emphasizes the importance of clear communication. When expectations are set and later adjusted, transparency becomes essential to prevent speculation. Silence in a digital era often creates space for rumor, and communication bridges that gap. Bishop Oyedepo's public explanation demonstrates how open dialogue can reduce tension and reaffirm trust. Finally, the broader body of Christ must learn to respond with support, not suspicion, during times of transition or delay. Criticism may come easily, but true unity requires empathy. Every divine vision comes under pressure at some point, and the role of believers is to uphold their leaders in prayer rather than amplify division. The church grows stronger when faith is mixed with understanding. In conclusion, the entire episode surrounding the Ark Project, Auntie Adunni's accusations, and Bishop Widapo's response presents a compelling study in faith, leadership, and communication. At the center of it all lies a lesson that transcends controversy, the tension between divine vision and human perception. Bishop Oyedepo's explanation, that the dedication date was shifted to preserve excellence, reveals a commitment to both faith and integrity. It reminds us that God's timing often unfolds beyond public expectation. While critics may see postponement as failure, those who understand the spiritual process recognize it as maturity, the willingness to wait until the vision is perfected. The Ark Project stands as more than a physical edifice. It is a symbol of faith, diligence, and endurance, a visible reminder that greatness is never rushed. Whether one agrees with the decision or not, there is no denying the impact of Widapo's legacy of faith-driven accomplishments and meticulous execution of divine visions. This moment also challenges the body of Christ to reflect on how we handle leadership challenges and delays. Do we judge quickly, or do we discern prayerfully? Do we demand immediate results, or do we allow God's process to unfold? And so, the reflective question remains, was Bishop Oyedepo right to shift the date in the name of excellence, or should he have kept to the original schedule regardless of imperfections? Whatever your conclusion, one truth stands firm: the church must continue to grow in discernment, patience, and faith. As believers, we must keep our focus on Christ, not controversies, remembering that His work is perfected in His time, not ours.